for submitting, I want to see a picture of this, or somehow I want you to be able to submit this, because I want to see, basically I want to see this, and then circle the correct transgression regression event on the side here as well. And to do that for both worksheet 1 and obviously for worksheet 2 over here. And then you'll answer these post-lab questions. And it's important to understand the rock units to figure out what's going on here. Some of these are going to ask you to look at the, especially for stratigraphic section 1, there's a scale here in meters. They're going to ask you to, one of these may have petroleum or gas, natural gas. So you want to be able to drill. If you were like between one of these two sections, how far down would you have to drill? So you want to read those numbers off the side here. And then finally, this next section, again, it's going back to correlation. And here we're looking at fossil types, right? So these different patterns represent different fossils. And so the first thing I want you to do is first, draw taxon range zones for each fossil, both first appearance and extinction, right? And that'll reveal the fossils with the shortest range zones and also those with the longest range zones. So, right, so for this one, we're going to figure out the fossil range zones in each area. So for the pentagon in area A, and so for area A, the pentagons have a pretty wide range zone there. It's a little bit narrower here in area B. And then for area C, they're going from here to here. Whoops. And then, and there, you don't see them in area D. Now let's do the next organism or fossil, which would be these half moons. And so the half moons go from here to here. And then on area B, they're from here to here. So this is what I want you to do when you're outlining each individual range zone or taxon range zone for each species. So this species occurs in all three areas, and it has a relatively narrow range zone. And then for, let's do the next species here, we'll do green on this one. We'll make green these little circles, and it doesn't occur in area B, but then we have it over here in area D. So the little circles here, they have a pretty narrow range zone, but they don't have a wide distribution, so that's not a very good index fossil. So let's use blue for the triangles here. So the triangles, or the diamonds, these are diamonds, right there. And then going from here down to here. And then from here down to here. So it's pretty wide distribution for these diamonds. All right, so now we have the range zones for each fossils, and we see, looking at, and so now you can answer these questions. Looking at just area A, which fossil has the longest geologic time range? So it's probably the pentagons here, right? And the shortest one, just in area A, would be well, actually it's kind of a toss-up between these half circles and the half moon. So it says, it says two fossils. Okay, good. So you pick those two, these half moons and the circles. And then when you're looking at all four areas, which two fossils are widespread across all areas? So you can look at this and figure that one out. That's pretty straightforward. And then for, again, all areas on question 6, which fossil would make the best index fossil? Remember, the index fossil has to have, it's easier to identify, and these are all pretty easy to identify, but a wide distribution and a narrow time range, right? So based on those 3 criteria, which of those, and there's really one that's a better, would make a better index fossil. And then explain your answer using the 3 criteria, right? So do that there. So the first step is really outlining these range zones for each individual fossil, right? So once you figure that one out, then you're looking at these different stratigraphic columns, and one in Arizona and one in Utah. They have similar rocks, but they're going to overlap in some way. So using the fossils, so these are the little fossils, and their the sequence of events here, you want to number the events. So obviously the metamorphic rocks are the oldest ones here, but this erosion event here, which is a non-conformity, that's an event, so that should go as number 2. And then you can start numbering these in Arizona and then do the same thing in Utah. And then answer these questions, and then once you figured out the sequence of events in both regions and where the two units that overlap in both regions, you can make one column for both areas here. So remember, don't repeat the ones that repeat in each area. So you'll only mark that once on this figure here. And that's it for this lab.